Hello, I'm Briyan Cessac, CEO and co-founder of Screenshot. I'm excited today to show you more about the Everai, our new project. I'm in company with Mehdi Aouichaoui, the artist which is behind the project. Hello, Mehdi.
Hello, I'm Mehdi, the artist behind the Everai, and this is my screenshot.
Today you are still in Paris. And
so after when I finished my studies, I started to live 4 years in Japan. And I came back 2 years ago, and I wanted to come back to Japan, but due to the new situation, I couldn't come back because the border was closed and everything.
Cool. And I think as well you were talking about the specificity of the art and Japanese art techniques.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about the few projects that you worked on that are? I know you worked on amazing projects. Could you maybe tell us more about those ones?
Yeah. So basically, I used to work on Dragon Ball Z, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, Star Wars Vision, and One Piece. It was a really great experience.
Just a small anime, actually, right? Yeah. But I'm sure, and you have plenty of others, but actually, I think just those ones speaks about.
Those one was the greatest
the
experience, definitely.
What does make the difference actually between normal animation, Japanese art animation? How do you differentiate it from any other kind of style, maybe?
So maybe we can talk about two big styles. I think you can find the first big actor of the animation is Disney. So basically, when I watch a Disney movie, I started by loving watching Disney movies a lot since when I was a kid, even more than anime before. But look, Aladdin, Tarzan, these kind of movies. For me, the big difference between the Japanese school of animation and the American Western school of animation is the way they see the directing. The directors on Disney movies really think a theatrical way. They focus on the actor or game, on the way the actor will move, the expression he will give by his motion, face motion, and everything. But in the Japanese animation, they care more about the posing and the photography. It's okay, for example, for a character to be hiding to the camera, and since the story and the composition of the picture is good. So this is a really different way, different school. It's when I see an animation movie, a Japanese animation movie, I think I'm watching a movie more, in terms of photography and everything. But when I'm watching a Disney, I think I'm watching a theatrical piece. It's really interesting, and they use a lot of music and everything, so they play more with a theatrical way. Okay. Yeah.
Super interesting. And so I think there is a thread, but I know that on the collection you worked on the lighting and the shadows and everything, and all this has a huge importance, I think, as well now into the way you draw things.
Yes, in Japanese animation, I can say the shadow and the lighting are used to create shapes, are used to create storytelling on the character. It's okay to not be the exact shadow you draw. If the light comes there, sometimes some shadow can be wrong, but you can use the shapes to create kind of atmosphere. You can notice this when you are watching, for example, Dead Leaves. It's a Japanese animation. When you watch this, you can see really strong shadows used to draw the character, to shape the character. So this is really interesting to see, in Japanese animation. And the shadow is made by the animator. So the animator have to create his own shadow to create some appeal on the motion. So this is, I think, a difference compared to other production I worked for Western countries. But some Western studios are trying to get this touch also. So it's kind of becoming
normal.
Yeah,
right.
Things are mixing. So basically, it's the experience that really print my soul with a deep print is Dragon Ball first, Dragon Ball Super Broly. It was the second time I was working for Japanese animation, and it happened to me with the studio I was working with to have the opportunity to work for Dragon Ball movie. So it was really impressive. I finally happened to not draw some Dragon Ball character in my school stuff, but for real, for money, like, and for like the real movie. It was kind of unbelievable for me. Like, it was really hard also because the amount of work was bigger than I expected, and the time was a bit smaller than I expected. So it was a bit interesting.
A bit hard.
Yeah, a bit hard.
And but I know as well that I think maybe Dragon Ball is super interesting because it's something that you were fan when you were younger, and then you worked on this. But I know you worked on other ones as well. Yeah. Pretty cool. Could you maybe tell us more about those ones?
Yeah, the second better experience I had was like I worked on other stuff, but the second experience was My Hero Academia. Like it was a really like I started to watch the anime, so I really enjoyed it, and then we could with a friend work on it. My friend is Ken Arto, and we worked together on this series. It was a lot of cuts because we took a pretty bigger part than we used to take before. So we had a really short deadline to send the cuts. So it really happened to work in the studio for all night on the rushing and the putting the music of the show and the like kind of creating an atmosphere. And it was in Japan. So like the morning when we were hungry, we go out of the studios and we went to buy some food at the kombini, the typical like Japanese night market. We bought many cool stuff and we ate and we worked again. It was really hard because we were lack of sleep, but we were really young and we were really excited by the project, and we worked together, so it was a team. Mm-hmm. It was really challenging. It was a pretty good memory. Okay,
cool, amazing. And I think it would be really interesting for us to understand as well, like, as people like me, I cannot draw anything, right? But it would be super interesting, like, just if you could just tell us a little bit more about, as for you, an animator, what is the creative process that you have?
Basically, we work with some materials, like the production sends us some design and storyboards. So from those materials, we can work because the storyboard is the director's intentions. So we have a range of freedom, but it have to fit the director's view. And we can create the animation, then we start with the key poses. And after we work on the key poses, we improve the posing, and finally we send this to the in-between team that will make more image to make the motion really smooth.
This is a specific about the animation, but when, like, for example, you draw or you create any new things and stuff, like, is it completely different then? I think because like animation is really about like really precise typology of work, right? The creativity aspect is really different.
Actually, it's animation is also a work of art, but it's also a technical work. But so there is different task. When I happen to create a project, I have to handle the creative parts. So I take from the experience the project I work for, because all the projects I worked for have kind of entered to my inspiration, entered to my experience. So when I start to create new project, it's really inspires me. Like when I start to create project, I also try to look for other animation reference, but also art references, designers, everything, not only animation, but really I try to open my mind to many style of art to create something cool.
Amazing. What are your main inspirations that you have actually into the space? Did it change over time actually when you evolved over time? Like did it change, and did you have any other inspirations that came out?
Yes, I think I had a lot, because basically I'm a big fan of like some 80s movies like Blade Runner. I really love Star Wars also, so I really love the SF movies, and so it really inspires me, and I really love like when the combination happened between Japanese animation, for example, and the SF, for example, like Cowboy Bebop or stuff like this, also Evangelion or stuff like this. So it's really like I really like the robot atmosphere mixing with the, Middle Age atmosphere, and creating some new environment, new experience. I really like this.
What are you the most excited about related to the release of Everai in the coming month?
Like I really want to see the reaction of the people who are looking for our collection, because it's something we had a really big freedom of creativity. So we could really do something new and something we loved. We could really have a freedom on this project. So it's a really, I think, something really rare in the art industry. So I think it's something I'm curious to see how people will react to this.
If you can tell us now more a bit, about the Everai, you spoke about the NFTs, you spoke about your past, and I think it's just going towards this direction of we are going to actually show to everyone the arts that you've been working on. And could you tell us the inspirations that was behind this first character collection that we are going to release?
Definitely, it was all the inspiration I was watching when I was kid till now, and especially we wanted to add a kind of retro atmosphere on this project, using pretty new technology like robots or like creature armors, like new technology, but mixing it with old taste, but like old school taste, yes. And this was really interesting, like to mix both and to create something. This is something I think that talks to many people from our generation and even younger. So we wanted to create something like with this feeling and our vision of this feeling, because every vision can be different. But
did you take any inspiration from what you did on this one, from any other works that you were working on before, or actually?
I think on this one I had the way to see the character, the angles and the shadows, everything. I took some inspiration from what I learned from the Japanese animation, but I also tried to bring something new. I wanted to create something I always wanted to create, but with the Japanese animation taste I've learned on the studios.
So if you had to describe the art of the collection, how would you define it?
I think I used to work as an artist for Western companies, also for Japan, and I think it's typically a mix of those experiences. So it's have Japanese influences, it's have also some Western influences like movies or stuff like this, and it's connecting. I tried to connect those worlds and to create something really that looks like what I wanted to bring. Yes.
Cool, amazing. And actually, you speak about the other influences that are not Japanese, but maybe people at first will see the inspiration from the mecha and everything, but on the other side of the inspiration, more about American or Occidental kind of inspiration. Could you tell us more about some stuff that you were inspired by and that you tried to implement into it?
Yeah, basically, I definitely I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so definitely I had some influences from some Star Wars helmets or stuff like this. I also inspired by some animals, like typical just animals, not movies or stuff, like to create some helmets, some atmosphere and everything. Also inspired by old school animation, American animation, like Ninja Turtle on the bad guy from the Ninja Turtle, stuff like this, to create some shapes. After I always take distance from those references and try to make something new. But I wanted to have this atmosphere around me and create in this atmosphere. Yes.
Cool, amazing. And how did you do actually to create the art itself? Like,
okay, so it depends, but actually I have a process. It's looking for shapes, because on this collection we were creating some helmets and armor parts to show the character. So I tried to look for the shapes that could work together, and it was a big challenge because all shapes could have not worked together. Especially if we mix them. So we had to create like something that can work always. And so I had to study the shapes. I have to make some sketches to see what goes well on one character, and I try to apply it on really different character. Create atmospheres between the character. Some character have like samurai atmosphere. Some have like more wild jungle atmosphere. Some have more old Egypt atmosphere. And I tried to create this, but not to put too much stereotypes, but just a touch of this. Yes.
How long in total did it take you to build this collection?
First part, like the creation, finding the first inspiration and everything, and making all together, I think it was about 1 month. But then we started to create a trailer. So from this trailer, I also took inspiration for the character because I could see how they move, I could see how they react, I could see what they could do. So it's not just a head like floating, like it's a character with a body, with a life. So the trailer could give me these informations. And when I finished the trailer and stuff, I think it was about 2 months like this. And after, we took a month for pushing the collection at his final rank. Yeah, I think.
Cool. And how do you like actually the final looking of the collection right now? Even though like the people that will watch actually right now don't know anything about how it's gonna look like, but maybe in a few weeks they will see. And but how do you feel right now about the results of the work that you've made?
You know, it's always hard to judge.
Yeah, for sure.
Our own work, but for the few people who could have seen this, they really enjoy it. And when I see the possibilities, like what is interesting is mixing the part, trying to make the pieces work together. I see brand of new possibilities, and this surprises me. Like, whoa, this and this worked. It looks really cool. Like the mix of the details and everything is really like works really well. So I had a really good surprise with this. So, and people really enjoy it. By the way, like, and it's not finished yet. Like Quentin is still working on the color part, atmosphere. So I'm pretty sure it will please many people.
Okay, well, thank you, Mehdi, for your time. It was amazing to talk with you, and super happy to have you on board with us and to work on this project. And for you guys, just don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be sure about to get all the information for the Everai, and make sure to follow everything that we do on Twitter and on Discord, and see you guys at the reveal. Peace.